Ready?
Ready.
Woo! I love our handshakes, man.
Hey, this is Mecum in the Morning, Thursday, July 11th, 2024, day 2 of the Mecum Florida Summer Special. There is a lot in store for today, Breon. So excited.
Matt, this is also episode 7.
Episode 7 of the morning show, and we are cruising right along with a lot on the docket for today. Let's get into that of what will be crossing the block. There are 334 vehicles scheduled to be rolling across the Mecum red carpet. That includes vehicles from 5 different collections, along with 24 pieces of road art. And Breon, as we were talking about yesterday, here on our position high atop the arena, some of our viewers might be able to see some of the road art already on display with those neon lights already lit up.
And if you look closer to the right, there's also some motorcycles, one of which was the Minion bike that we covered yesterday. I'm really excited. A couple of the coworkers back at the office reached out and said they'd really like to see us cruising around on the Minion bike and its twin down there. So I don't know, maybe I'll get a registered bidder's pass and take one home with us. Otherwise, I'm going to miss looking at it. It's only been a couple days of seeing it, but whoever does end up taking it home, they'll probably have a lot of fun on it.
It's like we were talking about yesterday. It's really a unique piece for a pit bike or for cruising around the neighborhood or the racetrack or wherever. I went out and talked to our motorcycle consignment agent, Craig, about that pair of those little runabouts, I guess you would call them, art pieces, but really unique. And I think you're right. Whoever buys it is going to have a really cool find.
Definitely a conversation starter when you're cruising around the neighborhood on one of those.
Well, speaking of conversation starters, let's get into our highway highlights.
Oh, you got it today. I'm proud of you.
I did get it today. I did it today. And we've got, the theme continues from yesterday.
It's all Florida vibes.
Florida vibes.
This whole week it's Florida vibes.
So there is no shortage of unique Florida-centric vehicles out in the fields around us that are going to be crossing the block. Starting with, I know the first one that caught your eye was this 1973 Toyota Chinook camper. This one really is set up to kind of go way out into the great outdoors. It's set up with all kinds of off-road equipment. You can see there with the aftermarket suspension work that's been done. What I liked about this one, Breon, was what's underneath the hood. It's a late model LS, so easy to get parts, lots of power, and clearly it's got a good vintage vibe with this thing, and I wouldn't mind going out and exploring with it.
So something you didn't mention is it only has 38 miles. A couple other things, that burgundy interior really caught my eye when I was cruising the website and the lots looking for the highway highlights for this week. What I would imagine is convincing my son and Prince Frederick, my dog, to go and, go swamping. Is that a thing, swamping? We'll have to check that out, but like go to the swamps in Central Florida, look for gators, wild boars, and really just use that as our adventure mobile.
Sure, yeah. I think it's up for the task. I will say on the aquatic theme, the second highway highlight was pretty unique. Do you want to fill our viewers in on what that was?
I would like to say one of the reasons why I chose it. It was the boat that I chose for today's episode. It was beautiful, the wood graining and everything. But the thing that really caught my eye was the name. You would not picture that boat having the name YOLO. Do you know what YOLO means?
I do. I'm getting older, but I'm young enough to know what that stands for.
What does it stand for, Matt?
Well, last time I checked, isn't it you only live once?
That's true.
Correct.
Yeah.
I had to think about that.
Yeah. But looking at this beautiful boat and then seeing the name YOLO kind of doesn't make sense, but it does.
Right, and I will say, Kayla, one of our social media team members, pointed out that the font matches the candy Rolo. Is that your idea or your thought?
It does. After she said it, I went and looked on the website and absolutely looked like it was like a rip of the Rolo logo YOLO.
Right,
that was a tongue twister.
And before we get too far ahead, that is a 1964 Century Resorter 17-foot boat that is going to be crossing the block today as lot number T55. It's been comprehensively restored, and I did see that according to our bullets, the boat has been displayed annually at the Mount Dora Antique Boat Festival, one of the largest antique boat gatherings. So a showstopper by all accounts with a very unique name.
Yeah, our house is right up by a couple bayous, so I can just picture, putting that out, on front of one of our docks and just going boating and YOLOing.
If that's a thing. I like that.
If it isn't, it is now, man.
I like that. Go YOLOing. Swamping and YOLOing. All right, moving on. Let's talk about the third highway highlight. Oh, man, surprise, it's a motorcycle.
Well, it's not a motorcycle that I would typically choose, but in the spirit of Florida themed and everything I do revolves around my son and my dog, this was the perfect motorcycle choice for today.
And so why is that? I mean, it's a 1925 Harley Davidson model JD with a sidecar. And how did that fit into kind of the overall theme?
Well, my son doesn't ride and my dog can't. So I would put my son in the sidecar holding Prince Frederick and we would cruise around. I just love that motorcycle. There's a video of it on the website starting. The commentary from the owners was pretty classic too. But I do want to mention that one of my highway highlights is crossing the block pretty early this morning. And I'm excited to see who that goes to because they're going to be definitely cruising in style. It was that Chevy Bel Air golf cart.
Absolutely. Very cool piece. And I know you and I were texting throughout the day yesterday as we were talking about on the show, several other very cool golf carts here crossing the block as well.
I didn't even, the golf cart that you sent me yesterday, we'll have to get some information on it. That has style. I don't even, what cart is that replicated after?
Some kind of 30 street rod, I believe.
Yeah, they're really interesting. So I think I should get the Chevy Bel Air and then you should get
Okay, a little race?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, next to our Minion bikes.
Next to the Minion bikes.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a blast.
Well, let me point something out. Going back to the Harley, Breon, I was chatting before we went on air with producer Alyssa, and she pointed out one of the unique aspects of that bike is that it is chain drive. And that's different from traditional Harley manufacturing. A lot of them are more belt drive. Is that correct?
Well, I would say moving forward in the future, but this is also a 1925 Harley Davidson, so I would say technology does change.
Yeah.
On that note, we all know Breon loves motorcycles, and I come from the motorcycle industry. And at Tulsa, we had the opportunity to invite Corey West, who actually rode for me many years ago, about 10 years ago on a race team, and his wife, Patricia, to come hang out with us for a day of fun. It was great. They're expecting their first child. They were really interested about what motorcycles were sold, but they really got jazzed up about some of the vehicles. Alyssa, let's show them what we got.
My name is Patricia Fernandez West, and I was a professional motorcycle racer for 11 years.
And I'm Corey West. I race in the Moto America King of the Baggers class and Super Hooligan National Championship for Saddlemen Race Development.
This is our first Mecum auction. We're really excited. We always watch it on TV. You see all the cool stuff that you wish you're bidding on. I bid on my couch bidder. That's what I like to say. But it's really cool to see in person.
I'm a big wagon fan. I like wagons, but old Suburbans, it's stuff that reminds me of like my dad's vehicles back in the day when I was a little kid. There's something about that nostalgia, like when you get into the old bench seat and you look at the dash, it's like it takes you back to being a kid. It's pretty cool. 4 wheels move the body, 2 wheels move the soul.
I mean, we're obviously on the Harley side of it, so we love all the V-twins, but I want to see some cool vintage race bikes.
I'd love to see some of the old 90s sport bikes. I know that there's some people that are like stashing away some of the really cool old original 90s, like ZX7s, FZR 600, stuff like that.
The two-stroke, bring back two-strokes. That's what I want to see. I want loud and smell oil when it burns. That's what I want.
Are we going to Vegas?
Oh, you better start winning some races because I'm going to start bidding. He's lucky I can't drink right now or I'd be bidding on stuff I couldn't afford. So to me, I feel like if you're a gearhead and if you love oil and you love anything that's really rad, you're going to love custom-built original motorcycles. Same with the cars. I'd love to see the collaboration. There's so much crossover.
Maybe I could find an old bike and then we'd have to get like an El Camino or something to haul it home.
I want an El Camino, a Ranchero. There was an old van back there, a wagon. They're family friendly, right?
It was really great having Corey and Patricia with us at Tulsa. They live in Arkansas, but they made the trek up, and I've watched Corey over the years, and he went from being on factory teams to privateer teams racing for me. But his new venture is on the Saddlemen race team, and I have to say congratulations to him and his teammate Jake Lewis. Last weekend they raced the Ridge in Washington State, and Jake took P1 and Corey took P2 in the Super Hooligans class. They race an HD Pan America in that class, which is crazy. I don't know if you know much, and maybe I'm going to quiz you next time we meet, but check out the Super Hooligan races. You take bikes that, no fairings, completely customize them, and somehow manage to get them on the racetrack, sometimes dragging knee and elbows. It's one of my favorite classes to watch outside of the bagger class. Imagine taking one of those big Harley baggers that are downstairs behind us, 200 miles an hour, dragging a knee on something like that, and the baggers are still on there. It's absolutely crazy and exhilarating to watch. But again, congrats, Corey and Jake. I'm really proud of you guys.
Question.
Yep.
So when they are competing, are there anything in the bags?
I haven't actually looked inside or asked them for like a six-pack of beer. I don't know, but
right,
you know what? That's a good investigative piece.
Right.
We'll tune into that.
We'll need to phone a friend and get Corey on the phone and ask him.
We'll have to ask him.
But it is a good reminder that at every Mecum auction, you never know who you will run into, and always someone interesting, usually with a vehicle or motorcycle connection. Breon, let's talk about something else that's vital to the Mecum experience, and that is keeping all these wonderful vehicles clean and looking their best, not just when they cross the block, but even on the days leading up to their moment underneath the spotlights there on the red carpet. Detailing here on site at each and every auction is such a vital component of helping these cars look their best, present their best to potential bidders. And so one of the many staff members that help with that is Ben, a detailer, and here's his story. Take a look.
My name's Ben McKenzie. I'm a collections detailer for Mecum Auctions. So I handle all of the detailing, all of the named collections that come through the auctions. We also travel to meet the clients and detail their cars for photo shoots and video shoots. Each car is different and they all need different services. So one car might take me 10 minutes to take care of. I might spend 2 or 3 hours on the next one. I can take care of anything that needs to be detailed on the car. So chrome, aluminum, paint polishing, paint correction, glass cleaning, interior, stain removal. Some of these cars are older, so we might find some surprises inside. But yeah, we take care of whatever needs to be done. The 303 team mostly takes care of the bulk of cars, and we just handle the named collections. I worked for 303 for 6 or 7 years before finally advancing and becoming a Mecum employee and becoming part of the team. We might have a collection that's all Corvettes, like we had one from Utah that had every generation of Corvettes up until the present day. So it's pretty neat to walk in and see all those cars, and sometimes they're sitting for a couple of years in these warehouses, and we have to bring them back to life so they look good again and they're presentable. The satisfaction of taking something that looks subpar and making it look beautiful again. It's really really fulfilling.
Yeah, you may not always see folks like that, Breon, but obviously there's people here at all hours of the day doing all kinds of work, and it's all part of the Mecum experience.
Yeah, so again, something that I had touched on yesterday is, Mecum isn't just an auction, or we are an auction, but with many other services that we offer, from the detailing to financial services to transport. We really do look at the end-to-end experience for the customer, and that's something I've grown to appreciate with my time at Mecum.
Right, absolutely. We talked about yesterday with transport, and now with detailing. It's a one-stop shop just to help the customer get the best experience with their vehicle.
You even see them. I stand down at the auction block pretty much once the auction starts, and you even see the detailers right up until when they cross the block, making sure that those cars are in pristine condition. I should probably bring my car and just see what they can do to it.
Well, the good news is if you end up with the Minion bike, there's not a lot of body work to keep clean. So
I'm sure that fender molding could use some cleaning from the mosquitoes we have here in Florida.
But with all that swamping and YOLOing,
Yes.
you're going to need a detailer. Let's see. And also, if you're coming out to the auction, including today at the summer special, be sure to stop by the 303. They're in our vendors area. They have all their great products, and you can talk with some of their specialists about how to keep your vehicle, your motorcycle looking its best.
Yeah, they've been a long time sponsor of ours. It's really nice seeing them set up every auction weekend that we have, and they're really passionate about their products. And if you're interested and to learn more, go stop by.
All right, well, let's learn more, Breon, about something else, and let's check back in with Kim's Corner and find out a little bit more about the younger bidders that are here on site.
Mecum is so much more than just a car auction. People bring their kids to show them what kind of vehicles they had when they were growing up, and show them what the way it is now and then. And so a lot of it is just getting the antique cars to come back to life today. So there are a lot of kids that's 16 years old, they want to come to Mecum to buy their first car to start their car collection. They come, they find a car they like, and they want to buy one for every year. So I told them, this is your 401k. Hang on to that. Kids 12 and under are free, and we always give them a bidder and training badge. Kids are allowed to sit with their parents if they're a registered bidder down on the floor. They are allowed to do that. They have their bidder and training badge, and they walk around, and you'll ask them, hey, are you going to buy a car? And they're like, yeah, what's your favorite car? And they know their cars. They do. They'll tell you, I want a Thunderbird, I want a Mustang, I want a Hellcat. So it's really neat. And I say, you buy one, come back and see me.
Another great segment with Kim at Kim's Corner. She's always bringing that level of customer service and care over there, whether it's the 3-year-old to the 90-year-old. She really does step up the game of customer service.
And as she pointed out, at every Mecum auction, kids 12 and under are free. And I think that's so important, Breon. Something to our brand is to have this be a family-friendly event. Make sure and get kids excited to come out and get excited for parents to bring their kids out, because I know that for a lot of us staffers, and myself included, being exposed to these cars at a young age is how I set about wanting a career to be around them.
Your entire career has been spent around,
It has.
expose them young, they'll become lifelong enthusiasts and passionates. I'm a little distracted right now because through the corner of my eye, I did notice that the golf cart is lined up to hit the block. That means it's one of the first items this morning. So as soon as we wrap up the show, I'm going to have to head down there, and I have to see who the lucky new owner is going to be for this golf cart. Probably give them a high five, ask them why they chose to purchase the golf cart that they did. But yeah, she's such a beauty.
Well, and as we talk about education, as we check in with different folks on the Mecum team, including Kim, as always, if there's some aspect of Mecum auctions that you have a question about how something happens or about something as part of the auction experience, be sure to drop us a comment on Facebook or on any of the Mecum. Just say, hey, Mecum the Morning Crew or whatever, and ask your question, just because we would love to be able to answer and address some of that.
I have a question for you.
Fire away.
Is there some way we can learn more about road art?
There is some way we can learn more about road art, Breon, including we have a package where we check in with Tiffany, one of our road art managers, talking a little bit more about the Mecum road art offerings. Here, take a look.
I'm Tiffany Beauchesne, and this is the Road Art Department. First, coming into our auction arena, we'll set up our walls, unload all the trucks, and organize everything by lot order. We'll set up everything so it's easy to find by buyers. Make sure everything is checked in, passes its, physical exam that it came in one piece, and get it ready to sell. Every piece of road art is labeled with a tag that has the lot number. Typically, it says what day that item is running on. Every auction comes with a show program. You're able to look up the lot number. You can look it up with a QR code. You're able to scan it, so you're able to see the details and bullet points. We research almost every piece that comes through. We do the best we can to find out the history, the years, the location of pieces. Really do our best to find out as much as we can.
How great is Tiffany explaining all the aspects, or I wouldn't say all, but giving us a little insight into road art. I personally think it's your gateway into future car buying experience. You come here maybe as a ticket holder, or maybe you come here and you just don't know what's going on. We do road art every morning at auctions, usually for the first hour before the cars hit the block, but it's a great piece. So say you have a father or a grandfather that has a Shelby Mustang, and you obviously can't afford to buy them another Mustang, but you can see like a really cool piece of neon or something from the past that could go hang in the garage or somewhere in the den.
And another aspect of that, Brianna, is that a lot of the road art collectors actually focus on that, where there's a lot of overlap with the vehicle collecting, but we have a lot of customers that come out just for the road art, just because that's what they're into, whether it be the gas pumps or the neon signs, the porcelain signs, all the great stuff that's found back in the road art area.
There's some things that were I did not pick for highway highlights, but that have had some pretty good mentions over the last couple of days for people looking online. There's an article posted. We have 2 rocket ships that are featured this week. I have no idea the history of them. I've asked Tiffany from Road Art and David Morton's our communications manager to check into it, because there have been a couple articles and people are very intrigued by them. I would say go check them out on our website, but they're 2 little mini rocket ships. A running joke with one of the journalists that I saw was, who's taking these to Mars? So I would love to know who ends up buying these and what the purpose is. But you have carousels, you have so many things that are featured in road art.
Well, and maybe a point of clarification, the rockets are coin op, correct? Kiddie rides that would be outside the store?
No, I don't know. They're not connected to something. So maybe they are rocket ships. I don't know. We'll have to go check them out and film something for tomorrow. But it's been a statement, or I keep getting press mentions about these rocket ships. I have no idea why the public loves them so much. So I think we should check them out after this.
Well, and as was included in the package, another big component of road art in collecting are the pinball games. I know that phenomenon continues to grow in popularity.
Our producer loves pinball. Loves it. Yeah.
But, I know pinball is a big thing. Even a lot of the modern manufacturers of pinball, when they release the game, they're still big with collectors. And so chances are, when you come out to a Mecum auction, you can find all of that great stuff, along with all the other vintage toys and all kinds of different stuff. But great piece from Tiffany there. So much with the road art offerings, and like you said, that is a great way for particularly newer collectors to get into the hobby.
It's their gateway.
And work your way up to vehicle collecting.
Yeah, exactly. One thing to note is that going into Harrisburg, which is our next auction, we actually have a great sampling of road art. We'll have to check on the pieces, but Tiffany said it's supposed to be a good one.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, as we wind down, let's talk about some merch.
Yeah, so again, guys, everyone always asks, for the most part, everything that Matt and I wear, you can either buy online, or if you come into the auction, you can go check it out. I found this hat for our producer, Alyssa. She's the president of the Black Hat Club. So she's been asking for a black Mecum hat. So there you go, Alyssa.
Thank you.
Our coffee mugs, these die-cast vehicles, everything is available either online or here at every auction.
Absolutely. Yep. So if you come out today to the Osceola Heritage Park Fairgrounds, we do have we have 1 or 2 areas set up for.
We have 2.
We have 2 areas set up. I think one of them's back by staging and one's in check-in.
Yep.
But as Breon said, you can find all of the Mecum apparel, the die-cast cars, all of that on site if you want to purchase it. And if you either see something and you didn't purchase it, or if you're not making it out, you can always find that at mecum.com/shop.
Yeah, /shop. But don't forget how cool the event tee for Florida is, because it has an alligator. And what kind of car does it have?
A Dodge Viper.
Yeah. So check it out. Again, they do happen to sell out faster than the other items that we have, because they are event specific. So if you were thinking about getting your Florida event tee, I would suggest doing it sooner rather than later.
And be sure to follow Mecum on all of the social channels. And as we gear up for the auction, it's going to be starting in just a couple of moments. Just a reminder that Brianna and I will be back for Mecum in the morning, both on Friday and Saturday, as we move further into the Florida Summer Special. Thanks for watching.